All right, welcome to the channel. This is my epic story of Jim Kwik at the VeeCon Genesis event in 2022. This would have been May 2022. And Jim Kwik is a phenomenal brain coach. I suggest you check him out, look up his work. He teaches how to use your brain better, how to optimize yourself, and to really become limitless. One of his books I just read is titled Limitless. I've got to read that thing. So what happened is during VeeCon, which is a event that Gary Vaynerchuk decided to start running each year for NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and cryptocurrency and marketing in general. This was a conference I ended up at with my friend David, and Jim Kwik was a speaker there. Now with VeeCon, the speaker lineup is incredible. At this Genesis event, Jim Kwik had spoken, I'm thinking it was the second day in the morning, teaching his methods of how to anchor things through memorization and mnemonics and so on. So what happened for me is I was walking around the arena. It was at an arena in Minneapolis. I don't recall the name, but the largest one that they've got there downtown. We're walking around the arena looking for the event. There was a specific event that I was going to meet my friend Andre at, who Andre had manifested tickets to show up at this event. He got free tickets through Twitter, I believe it was, which is so ironic because 2 years later, last year, as of the time of posting this video, I did the same thing. I won tickets to VeeCon 2024, and then I ended up in jail because of an overstimulation event that taught me ultimately that I need to change my life. So all of that irony aside, back to the story. I'm walking around on day 2 of VeeCon, and I'm looking for a specific room where this event is being held. And I'm not sure of the layout with this arena. So then what was interesting is I saw Jim walking along, and I made eye contact with Jim, and I said, "Hey, your speaking was phenomenal. I had seen him that morning." And he expressed his gratitude and said, "Thanks for being here and for listening to what I have to say." It's like, "Yes, of course." So then I think right away I just said, "I'm looking for this room. Do you know where it is?" And Jim looks at the room and is like, let's say it was C3, the C3 lower airlock. Whatever, lower airlock. It's what my buddy Jeff always says when you're trying to get around in arenas and don't want to stay under the radar. So anyways, I show Jim the place that I'm looking for. Jim doesn't know where it is, but almost as though he didn't even have a thought in between. Jim looked at what I showed him, and then he looked up, and at what seemed to be the top of his lungs, to all the people in the space who could audibly hear, he goes, "Can anybody tell me where the C3 airlock is?" And everybody turned and saw Jim had asked this question. And the first person who was able to quickly think of where it was, they said, "Oh yeah, it's," and they gave directions to Jim, who then turned to me and relayed what I had just heard that person say. This was just monumental to me for my experience, for one, experiencing this limitless attitude that Jim Kwik exudes, and on top of that, comprehending the idea that any single person has that small little switch to be able to handle situations in that method which Jim handled. He didn't even give it a second thought. What Jim knew is that there must be somebody in the, let's say, 100 people who are walking back and forth to their events in this arena. There must be one person who knows where the C3 airlock is. Now, it's not the airlock. That's kind of a joke. We'll call it the C3 room. And in the instant that Jim thought there's got to be somebody here, I know that there is. What I need to do is produce feedback, an audible signal to speak what it is that I'm looking for, so that whoever has what it is I'm looking for will be able to respond back. Here's the directions. It's such a simple switch in thinking, but it was so monumental and important. Yeah. I want you to take that story and bring it into your own life, into each day. What I know from my past is that there have been many instances where I felt like, because I'm either worried of what somebody might think on my question or what I'm going to say or whatever it is, I simply won't act with the potential that I've got. And yet, when you are grounded with the actions that you're taking and they are rooted in good, really the switch between 99 and 100 is like that. And something Jim Kwik always says is the difference between boiling and not boiling is 1 degree. But when you switch that 1 degree, now you have shifted the entire state of the liquid that is boiling. Previous to boiling, it was liquid. As soon as it starts boiling, now the state has shifted for it to be gas, a completely separate state. Think about that. You have the power to have that within your own life. Every single one of us do. And that's the beauty about life, man. When you choose to see the world around you as opportunities, and you act on it in a good, positive and productive way, where you want to bear good fruit, the opportunities around you will start to respond back to you with the answers that you're looking for. I hope that this video is inspirational for you. My name is Eric, and this is Epicworld. You can call me Epic. We'll see you in another video, all right? Peace out.